Welcome back to the 23rd Annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival right here in Nevada City, Grass Valley. I'm your host for this segment, Kimberly Ewing. It has been such a delight to meet these inspiring filmmakers, directors, and everybody that's part of the production team. We have Crystal here. She's with the movie, The Wolf Creek Anthem. And welcome, Crystal.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and what's great about Crystal and this segment is this is a local film right here in our downtown Grass Valley, Wolf Creek. So tell us a little bit about the Wolf Creek Anthem. How did it find you, or how did you find it?
Yeah, I guess I would say it found me. We work with a local nonprofit in town called the Wolf Creek Community Alliance.
Oh, okay, great.
So Gary Griffith, who's the president of WCCA, he reached out to me and he said, we have this really cool Earth Day performance coming in. We're doing a custom set of orchestral suite, which is like 10 songs. We're bringing in this composer. It's a celebration of Earth Day to raise awareness for Wolf Creek, which is the creek that runs through town. And he said, we just don't know what we want to do with it, but we thought of you guys, and maybe it's photography, maybe it's maybe we just live stream it, but we want to document this event somehow. We want it to live past the live performance. So that was kind of how it found me, and I said, why don't we do a documentary? Just to kind of document the event and share it with people who weren't able to see it that day. So that's kind of how it started. I guess you could say it found me. So
yeah, and what's great, Crystal, is that you're a local gal-ish. Yeah. So it's kind of fun to bring you back here and to be able to enjoy your own town and
definitely
capture its beauty.
Yeah. I've lived in Grass Valley for this will be my 5th year.
Okay.
So.
And you are all of the things on the film. You're the director, you're the DP, and the editor.
I am.
That's amazing.
It's ambitious, and I don't always love it, but sometimes it's nice to be able to edit what you shoot, or edit what you write, or pre-plan in advance, because then you kind of know the project, front to back end.
Yeah, and the subject is the subject in the film is the composer.
Yes.
Tell me her name and how that happened for her.
Yeah, Alexis Ulrich is the composer. So she actually applied for a grant called I think it was called the Upstate California Arts Grant. Something like that. And so that's how she got the funding to do the project. So it was in collaboration with Alexis Ulrich, the composer, and WCCA.
Okay.
And that's kind of how they put that all together. But the film's really about Alexis's creative process and how she pulls inspiration from nature. She's also a local, so she took a lot of inspiration from Wolf Creek and the sounds and from our local watershed. So we wanted to kind of document that, but also have the music be a really central part of the film. So it's very music driven, which I'm not used to. Like I really connect with people a lot, when we do a lot of documentary filmmaking. So for me, this was kind of new. This was a new process to just let the music kind of talk us through and guide the pacing of the film. So that was really fun.
I know, and when I watched the film, Crystal, she had to go down and be in the moment with the Wolf Creek because of its sounds and the birds, and it was really fun to watch her process of how to make that into a musical piece. And you could see it through the film. You could watch her, wheels turning kind of in the film. That was kind of fun, an interesting choice for you to choose. Were there any surprises when you were filming this? Were there any delights or bizarre things that happened, or anything that happened? In production, some things happen.
Oh yeah, there's no shortage of. I said this the other night, that there's no shortage of challenges. Anything that can go wrong probably will. For the most part, I would say it was a really straightforward project, but there were definitely some unique things that I had to fill in. We had a lot of creative control. When Gary Griffith asked us to do the film, he was like, just do your thing. Which is a nightmare for me, right? Because I need to work with constraints, so I know what I can do and what I can't.
Right.
So we didn't even have like a specific runtime that we wanted to shoot for. So the first thing we did was, okay, let's treat this kind of investigatively. Let's just bring in Alexis and Jonathan Keene, who sat with Alexis. He's part of WCCA, sat with Alexis and helped her kind of write the grant. And let's just ask them about it and let's see where the story kind of goes from there. And that's that one part of Alexis's interview where she talks about how the sounds of nature really inspired her, I thought, well, maybe we should just go out and do the same thing. We should just go and camp out by the creek and see what kind of wildlife we see. Like, what are we hearing? And somehow kind of weave that into the music. And you can hear, I think, in Alexis's songs, like, oh, okay, this like flittering, this like frantic heartbeat. It sounds kind of like birds flapping, So it was really fun to kind of not only to have like almost like a custom piece of music I could edit to, and feel more creative that way. So it was pretty fun. It was fun to scout out the various lizards and ducks, and
I bet.
So it was just like, not as much waiting as you would think, though. We would kind of post up with the camera at a preserve, and Wolf Creek is very long, so there's a ton of wildlife. But I was expecting to be there for hours, and really the ducks would just show up, and it was a lot of fun.
And it's fun to see that you're doing projects. I mean, this is what's great about Wild and Scenic Film Festival is we have filmmakers all over the world, but then we have talent right here in our own town, and I just love that they celebrate local environment and also activism and inspiration from people like you that have lived here, but have lived and done other things too to get your education. It's just such a joy to know that it's happening. Anything else about your film that you'd love our audience to hear, or a big takeaway from the film?
Yeah, I think, activism can look like a lot of different things, I think is what I learned through this project. And it can be really unconventional. I think we have a community here that's really rich in their knowledge of the natural world, and a lot of people who, like we saw in a Radical thread at the other local at Heart Session,
right.
Such a great film. A lot of people who have a lot of knowledge about their watershed and how things work, and it can look like picking up trash on the side of the road, and it can look like composing music and just sitting with this feature of our community that we can sometimes take for granted. But yeah, there's no one way to be an activist, I think, and I'm just very grateful to be part of this project and be part of this community.
I agree, Crystal, and music is always going to connect to people's heart, regardless of where they're at or what's going on. Music always unites us, I think.
Totally.
So, wonderful job on your project.
Thank you.
Crystal, let's give it up for Crystal with her beautiful movie, Wolf Creek Anthem. Thank you so much. And we'll be back after this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Congratulations! Yeah, and let's keep coming back. Like, I mean, I think she's like an up and coming filmmaker doing her thing. Yeah, so congrats. Yeah, you take care.
Crystal? I wonder if your face was familiar.
Hi! Hello, welcome again. How are you?
Hi there. I'm sorry.
Nice to see you. So there's going to be one here, and then we'll have a microphone for you.
Deep couch.
I know, and you have big legs. I have to sit up because otherwise I'll like fall down.
Thankfully, I have a long torso that like makes up for any sinking.
How's your festival weekend going so far?
Good.
Has it been fun?
Yeah.
Busy?
Now that we've screened, I'm like, okay.
How did it go?
Well, I think it was.
I feel like it was well received.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how could it not?